If Earth stopped spinning right now, you wouldn't just feel it, you might not survive it. And if you did, you wouldn't recognize the world around you. We rarely think about it, but right now at this very second you are flying through space at over 1,600 kilometers per hour just from the Earth's rotation. At the equator, that's nearly 1,000 miles per hour. It's invisible, silent, and constant. This spin gives us time. It gives us rhythm. It shapes our climate, powers our atmosphere, and forms the foundation of all life cycles. But what if, somehow, all of that motion stopped suddenly? Not a gradual slowing over millions of years. Not a gentle pause from cosmic forces. A full, immediate stop. In an instant, the Earth's crust stops rotating. But everything on the surface, that keeps going hurtling eastward at the speed of the planet's rotation. Entire continents would experience the momentum like a sudden car crash, except the car is the size of a planet. Buildings would rip from their foundations. Skyscrapers would collapse like dominoes. Trees would be launched from the soil. People would be flung into the air and slammed against anything in their path. It would be devastation on a scale no war or disaster in history has ever approached. And then, the air hits. The atmosphere isn't anchored to the surface. It keeps moving. Winds wouldn't just blow, they would roar at supersonic speeds. The world would be torn apart by jet streams of destruction. Entire cities would be shredded. Hurricanes wouldn't even compare. This would be air moving at Mach speeds, crushing, scouring, igniting fires through friction alone. It would be global. Then, the oceans. Water doesn't care that the crust stopped. It keeps moving. The inertia of the seas would create mega-tsunamis hundreds, even thousands of meters high. These wouldn't just crash onto beaches, they would swallow entire countries. The east coast of the US, most of Western Europe, and parts of Asia would disappear beneath walls of water. Rivers would reverse. Lakes would surge inland. The hydrological cycle would shatter in minutes. But even if you survive all that, your problems are just beginning. The Earth's rotation powers something critical, the magnetic field. That field is generated by the movement of molten iron in Earth's core, movement driven, in part, by the planet's spin. If the Earth stopped, that movement would slow and then collapse. And without the magnetic field, we're exposed. The sun constantly bombards the Earth with deadly solar radiation. Normally, our magnetosphere deflects it. Without it, our atmosphere would start eroding just like Mars. In a matter of centuries, Earth could lose its air entirely. No atmosphere, no protection, no ozone, just radiation and vacuum. And then comes the shift in shape. Right now, the Earth isn't a perfect sphere. Because of its rotation, it bulges at the equator by about 21 kilometers. If that rotation stopped, gravity would reshape the planet. Oceans would drain away from the equator and flood the poles. Massive regions like the Amazon basin, parts of Africa, and Indonesia would become high, dry plateaus, while Canada, Siberia, and Northern Europe would vanish beneath rising polar seas. New deserts, new coastlines, lost cities. Now imagine life without a spinning Earth. Without rotation, Earth wouldn't have 24-hour days. Instead, one side would face the sun for an entire year, while the other side sits in darkness. 6 months of scorching, continuous sunlight. 6 months of endless, frozen night. On the day side, temperatures could rise to hundreds of degrees Fahrenheit. The oceans might boil. Plants would wither. Entire ecosystems would evaporate under relentless solar assault. On the night side, the opposite. Freezing temperatures. Darkness so total it would collapse photosynthesis. Ice sheets would expand. Even the air might freeze, falling to the surface in waves of crystal nitrogen. Between these two extremes lies a narrow band of twilight, the Terminator zone. A region where temperatures might be just survivable. Here, in this dim eternal dusk, life might cling to survival, barely. But it wouldn't be life as we know it. Weather patterns, which rely on the Coriolis effect caused by rotation, would collapse. There'd be no jet streams, no prevailing winds. Storms would form differently massive convection systems rising straight up, then falling like hammer blows. Entire weather systems would stagnate, creating mega-droughts in one region and eternal storms in another. Agriculture, gone. Crops require predictable sunlight cycles. Even artificial farming would struggle against radiation, extremes of temperature, and the collapse of pollination cycles. Food chains would disintegrate. Ocean life, already disrupted by tidal changes, would crash without the lunar drag and solar heat circulation powered by spin. And let's not forget the tides. Earth's rotation and the moon's gravity combine to create the tides we rely on for ocean currents and marine life stability. No rotation, no stable tides. Marine ecosystems would face collapse. Coastal fishing gone. Coral reefs dead. Ocean oxygen levels unstable. Surviving humans would need technology just to stay alive. Underground cities. Artificial climate control? Nuclear or geothermal power, controlled agriculture, protection from radiation storms, and even then, most of humanity would likely perish. Civilization would fragment, perhaps even regress. Satellite communication would falter, GPS would become useless. Timekeeping itself would lose meaning. Our entire framework of modern life based on consistent days, global coordination, and energy would unravel. And here's the final twist: even if we somehow survived, we wouldn't stay on Earth forever. Eventually, Earth's core would cool, volcanism would cease, plate tectonics would stop, and the planet would go geologically silent. Without renewal, without protection, Earth would begin to resemble a lifeless rock. So, what's holding it all together? That silent spin. The invisible rotation that gives us day and night. That fuels our magnetosphere. That powers our winds, stabilizes our seas, and makes Earth Earth. It's something we never see, never feel, but it's the reason we're here. So next time you stand under the sky or feel the ocean breeze, remember, you're spinning silently, safely, and constantly. Because if that ever stops, so does everything else.